and welcome to the FirstBank Fintech podcast. This is the place to be for intelligent discussions with brilliant minds and pioneers of the financial technology space in Nigeria. I'm your host, Fisayo Fosudo, and I'm joined by the uber amazing host, our co-host, Tomike. Baoni, how are you doing?
I did. You put uber in front of the amazing.
Yeah.
Next episode, we have 3 words there.
Yeah. Something amazing.
I like it. I'm good. And today we're joined by 2 intelligent guests, as always, and I cannot wait to learn from their well of knowledge. Sitting right beside me is the Honorable.
She's not a politician.
Please. I know why I use honorable. Just leave the honorable like that. We have seated right beside me Coker Olorunfemi, who is a blockchain enthusiast.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Welcome.
And we have seated beside me Olusegun Komolafe. He's a blockchain developer.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
You're most welcome. So, are you ready? Drum roll.
Definitely.
I'll start with you. Tell me about your childhood. Did you always see yourself as a blockchain enthusiast? Obviously not.
Definitely not. My journey was quite funny. All through school, I studied management information systems, came out and found myself as a social media influencer, like part of the first set of influencers in Nigeria.
Wow.
And then I moved on to creating a digital agency, who later found itself offering services to financial companies and fintechs. So it gave me more passion for this fintech space, and I started looking into the blockchain, looking into cryptocurrencies, looking into everything that has to do with financial technology, basically. So it's been an amazing journey so far.
I can imagine it's a huge transition, which I love. It shows that anything is possible. Yeah. But when you say looking into, how were you looking into? Was it Google, or did you have to go somewhere to learn more or something?
Basically, it's in personal development. I took some courses, interact with a lot of people. You can't really sell what you don't know, basically.
Sure.
And if you're offering a service to help market even fintech products for fintech companies and fincos, you definitely have to understand what you are trying to pass across to other people. Yeah. And you have to also understand what governs it, basically what are the next steps, so you always be a step ahead of what's going on.
I agree.
So, okay, how about you, Segun? How has your journey been before, becoming a blockchain developer? I know it's sort of like a new phenomenon now, blockchain, and it's kind of catching on. Well, maybe not necessarily
Can we even
new,
break down blockchain before it goes on?
Yeah.
All right. So blockchain is a distributed ledger. It's a way of storing data in a decentralized system. Currently now the internet is currently working on a centralized system. So blockchain is basically distributing this data, letting them keep the same copy of that same data, that is making it immutable and tampered free. So you can't hack into it. Yeah.
Okay. So how about pre-blockchain era for Segun?
Okay. So the thing is, I came from a family of tech pioneers in Nigeria. Like my family were ones of were part of the people who started to own cyber cafes.
Wow.
There's Pinnacle Wireless Limited. That was back in the 90s. So when I started my journey, I was always fascinated with computers. I started using computers at 6 years old, and I started programming when I was 11 years. And
wow.
So over time, I just kept on getting curious about what I could create. When I watch movies and I see some of the crazy stuff that Hollywood shows, in as much as most of those things were overhyped, we just try and do things. Then I started web development as of 2015, and I got introduced to Bitcoin back then. So the whole thing that brought me to blockchain was I was with some of my friends. I think that was the first time WhatsApp had a downtime, and it was actually a very crazy downtime. WhatsApp was down for almost 6 hours. I can remember that very day, and we couldn't send messages. We couldn't send anything. So I came up with the whole thing, why can't we just create a decentralized system where we don't need to have a central internet where we can communicate? That was what got me curious, and I discovered that there's something called a blockchain technology, and It's basically decentralizing the internet, and that's how my journey started.
So you found out about Bitcoin in 2015.
Yes, I did.
Did you own any Bitcoin back then?
Yeah, I actually did. I own Bitcoin. I did a kind of bounty project, and I got paid in Bitcoin. Although I never really saw the use of Bitcoin. It was in 2017 or 2016 I got to know that okay, this thing actually has value. So this Bitcoin got missing with my laptop. I got robbed. So so basically my private keys were lost.
In terms of open banking and blockchain, are there any similarities? I mean, they've been tagged the future of fintech.
Okay, so they are quite similar. The fact that they're actually evolving fintech, but they are different because one is still centralized while the other is decentralized. So in terms of blockchain is actually enforcing DeFi as decentralized finance, while open banking is basically banks opening up their APIs for third parties to like easily build fintech products on them. So that's just it.
Okay, I was actually going to segue into something more, related to blockchain and the future of, Nigeria and our currency, if you will, because the company building the infrastructure, and this is to both of you, the company building the infrastructure for the eNaira has built, a CBDC, the central bank digital currency for Eastern Caribbean countries. They've done something similar in terms of currency for other countries, and it's they also work with the blockchain. How do you see the eNaira faring? To both you, Segun and Femi, how do you see the eNaira faring, and do you think this is something that might catch on?
Okay, let me go first.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, I see the eNaira as just a digital representation of the Naira. When I was reading about it, I saw so many things that I was wondering that how would the eNaira provide such services? Because part of what I read, the eNaira is meant to also help with borderless transactions. But how do we use the eNaira for borderless transactions when the eNaira is a currency that was created just to be used within the country? Because it's not like a cryptocurrency. It's not pegged against any other currency.
It's a stable currency, non-interest bearing currency.
Yeah, but okay, like I want to trade in China now.
Okay. How
do I send you eNaira? It's not possible. So how is this creating borderless? It's like we're creating technology of a few years ago. And what makes it different from the eNaira in my bank account, the same digital Naira in my account, if I can transfer, if I can pay bills and still do everything with it? I was expecting something that would help be a gateway between P2P transactions so that even government does not lose out of how they've regulated the crypto space now. So, okay, if you want to still buy crypto, use the eNaira as a gateway into it. So the government will be able to still gain from transactions, be able to watch how money leaves fiat into crypto and comes back as fiat. But I don't see the eNaira addressing all this. And I think Segun will talk more even about the technological aspect of it.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I actually have something to ask, but...
All right, so basically... Bits is actually like they are reputable in terms of they've developed like other CBDCs. So the only concern I have is the scalability, because this country that these guys have deployed this eNaira for, not eNaira, these CBDCs for, they are small countries. They are countries that I really doubt if they would have like very large chunks of transactions in a second, Because I know in the banking sector in Nigeria, we process so many transactions in a day or even in a minute. So can this infrastructure handle because if they are going to be building on a distributed ledger, there's one thing they need to understand. In as much as they can control, they will have admin privileges over some certain things, they can't do things like you reverse transaction like it's currently on with the central system. it's a blockchain. The nodes need to reach a consensus. They have to reach an agreement. So if a transaction, except a transaction just fails, and most of the time you have, even with some of the legacy blockchain networks that we're having right now, when a transaction fails, you likely lose that money sometimes. These are some of the things that I felt CBN should have done a research on or consulted for before they got into that ship.
I think it's still launching in phases now. In October, it's supposed to launch on the 1st of October, Independence Day.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have that pilot with the speed wallet and all of that. I wanted to actually say that I think one of the reasons why we have something like this eNaira. When I listened to the manager for monetary policy of the CBN, and he was more focused on that's not the only focus, but it was also about financial inclusion and letting people be banked, using only their phone number. And the financial inclusion numbers are not really there. There was this thing that Quartz released that we have Nigeria leading the charts with regards to cryptocurrency and all of that stuff. So what's your also your vision for financial inclusion? How do you see more Nigerians getting banked and accessing easier financial transaction and services like that?
So the first thing I think needs to be done, or should I say most of the things that are currently done, is that most people don't even have a bank account in Nigeria. So I think that's one of the major challenges that needs to be solved. I've been to countries where as simple as your USSD, you could basically undo a transaction without even using a mobile app. You see situations like what do you call this, M-Pesa in Kenya, or this Momo in Rwanda. These are some of the things I feel we need to we first have to get right. Now, the banking infrastructure, fine, we have one of in terms of instant transactions. Nigeria, we are currently leading in that space. Because even in America, you can't do transactions instantly.
I didn't know that until I saw it and I was like, what? I hear of clearing houses and stuff, and I'm like, how? People are waiting till the next day?
Yeah, it takes 48 hours. So the only way you could basically do a transaction as fast as possible is to use systems like maybe Visa, and it goes through some also it also goes through some very annoying process. You understand? So I think crypto basically has made things. It's basically changed the dynamics of things. For the fact that we can now the banks can become their bank. You having a crypto app on your phone basically is like you having a bank, because you can basically just create multiple wallet addresses, and these wallet addresses allows you to store as many cryptocurrencies of your choice, depending on your choice of wallets or your choice of wallet application. This is actually a phase I feel the CBN needs to come into. How can we use the same innovation and pass it on to the Nigerian public?
I mean, I think that's what the eNaira is for now.
Yeah. That's what it is for. But how like I said, how scalable will this thing be in the long run?
Now, moving back to open banking, do you think this would actually revolutionize access to funds, mortgages, and credits?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you even look at how access to loans at the moment, it's quite ridiculous. I one time tried an app just to even see if I could build my credit score. And the app at the beginning said it was going to read my phone for some data, then it would tell me how much I can access. And I was like, okay, let's see what this gets to. And then he read my phone, and I could only access 5,000. And I was like, how did you get to this data? Because this doesn't make any sense. But at least with open banking, you'll be able to see the kind of transactions I've been handling, all my accounts. You see even other details of basically all my transaction details. You'll be able to know, okay, this guy will be good for this amount to be able to pay this. He has this on the average on every month. This comes in. Even if I'm trying to get a mortgage, I'll be able to get it. You'll be able to even create flexible plans for me with open banking, because you already have a lot of data on even how I spend, not just you having a strict a work plan that you think will work for everybody. And it's especially for SMEs, for entrepreneurs, that this month can be a crazy boom, next month.
month,
Yeah, so you can't just create a same plan for salary earners for it like that.
Yeah.
So it would revolutionize loans, a lot of things.
I think I kind of see what you mean, because these systems kind of use AI and it's not necessarily like super accurate. So what would you say like success is for you? Like how would you define success if you as a person or as a like entrepreneur, for instance?
Success to me, true. Success is relative to everyone. Success to me is achieving my goals, basically. I don't try to put too much pressure on myself, but if I write something down and I get it done, that's success for me, basically.
Are there any of your goals for this year that you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
I tried digitizing some of my operations this year, and at least I've gotten that up to a certain level, and that's success. I had to get developers to at least put some of those operations into into something digital that's could at least I can sleep and still have those services run.
True.
So,
how about you? Your metrics for like success?
So I don't think I've actually like
sat down to
think
say,
about
okay,
it.
This is what,
because I'm always building. So like I'm always building. So for me, I feel being able to like solve problems is one of the major things that I am always interested in. When I look into complex things, I try to make it as simple as possible. The first thing I look into is architecture in it, because architecture is not just in building designs. It's cuts across every single thing, So basically, being able to like translate complex problems, find a very simple solution that could, even if it's not an app, just find something simple to solve that problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much for joining us. Final words for us. If I want to be a blockchain expert, what's the first thing I need to do?
Or a developer.
You never can tell. It might just be in my future somewhere. Maybe because I said, ask them today. On a final note, what do I need to do actually?
Okay, so a lot of people have asked this question.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the thing is, for you to be a blockchain developer, you must be a software engineer. You must be a software developer. So the thing is, blockchain is software engineering. The only difference is that you are building on a distributed system. You're building on the blockchain. So centralized system is basically you're dealing with your servers like AWS. You stay in the basic side of things. You may be doing your cPanels and all. But blockchain is now where you're building on a decentralized system, decentralized storage units, and you're writing. There's one thing you call smart contracts. So now smart contracts are basically, it's a kind of code that executes itself. So you just like set the functions. I want this to do this. I want this to do this, and it just runs itself and stores this data. It hashes it on the blockchain. You could see the invention of DeFi. Most DeFi platforms run on a smart contract. It doesn't, and this smart contract might not even get updated in years or months, and they would still be handling chunks and chunks of transactions. And that's basically, so for you to be a blockchain developer, you must be a software engineer. Then you have to learn like the tools that are required to deploy applications on the blockchain.
Thank you very much.
We didn't let him speak.
He's just finished speaking when
he's
here.
interested. Like if you want to become an enthusiast.
Okay, if I want to become an enthusiast.
No, you want to
speak for yourself.
Well, for
I
more
know what
or
I
less
asked
like
for.
like he commented. I don't know. Me, I'm speaking for myself anyway.
But I feel like it should be similar to.
Yeah. I guess. I don't
still
really.
in the same line.
I don't really know anything. Don't worry.
So let him aside now.
Yeah, basically, if you really want to become an enthusiast, you definitely have to have a background knowledge of at least tech.
Yeah.
It helps if you have at least, even if it's a bachelor's degree in
So you will learn
tech-related field.
like the language, the vocabulary, the
Yes.
stuff. What
Even beyond the vocabulary, because you must really understand how you work.
what they mean.
Yeah. And you should also be able to, because apart from knowing what works, you should be able to know, okay, what this person's offering is way better than this other. Because there's sometimes you hear about different blockchains. You should be able to know the functionalities, like the specifications, why this is better. Like in blockchains, the transaction per second is a major thing. So imagine, and it's technology. So these are a few things you look out for. You try to see, and you already know, like, okay, basically, trying to get blockchain A, blockchain B has a better transaction per second. Will I take on blockchain A that I'll be waiting 20, 30 minutes before my transactions are confirmed, before my contract executes, or will I take on blockchain B? So basically, you keep yourself informed always. You try and take a few other courses, like there are simple courses online that you could always take, and you could try investing also in a few blockchain products.
I have a last question, but I don't want you to just both of you. I'll just one word, yes or no. Do you guys own any NFTs at all?
Me, no. Not yet.
Do you own any?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I do.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. And thank you so much for watching and for listening to FirstBank Fintech Podcast. I'm Tomike Adeoye, your host, and my amazing co-host has been Fisaya.
Thank you so much. Check the links in the description below for more episodes and, to learn anything about the FirstBank Fintech Podcast.
We'll see you in the next episode.